Hello everyone, how's it going and welcome back to the channel. Today I have an unboxing for you of a pen which I've always wondered about, and that's the Pilot Custom Heritage 92. A pen which I wondered about because of the fact that it's probably one of the only pens that Pilot has that has a piston mechanism on it. So I just got this pen, and so it comes in the normal Pilot cardboard box. Not very interesting. And inside you get the clamshell box with the Pilot logo. And then opening the box up, you get an additional piece of wrapping. Nice touch to make sure that the pen is safe. You get the pen in its sleeve, which we'll take a look at it later on. I don't expect to see any cartridge on this because obviously it's a piston filler. And just taking a look, this is the warranty card, I suppose. So just taking a look at the instructions. So this is a Type S fountain pen. So basically what that means is if you look at the instructions, it tells you how to use the ink pump system. For those of you who have used piston fillers in the past, probably this will be not very interesting, but basically it's pretty interesting how Pilot kind of tells us how to do it. Basically, insert the ink, the nib into the ink, immerse the nib, and then after that, draw the ink into the pen and repeat it a few times. And then afterwards, to kind of turn the knob counterclockwise to put a few drops of ink back into the bottle, and then afterwards just wiping the pen down. So it's always nice to kind of get an instruction set for a pen, even though you might already know how to operate a piston filler. So this is the pen, and I'm just going to grab a pair of scissors, sorry. And I'm going to take the pen out. So on the clip, it actually gives you the model number, which is the Pilot FKVH15 SRS. FM will be the nib that I chose, which is fine medium. And you have the model name down here, which is the Custom Heritage 92. And as it says, it is a 14 karat nib. So this is the pen, and one of the things about the Custom Heritage line of pens, I only have the other one, which is the 912. It is that it has a sword style clip versus most of the other Pilot pens that actually have this normal style clip with a ball at the end. So it's interesting to me to kind of put the two pens side by side, which is the piston filler, which is the 92 down here, and then the pen which I've had for quite a while, which is actually the Custom 74. So kind of been waiting for that moment to kind of look at the two pens side by side. So looking at the Custom Heritage 92, you have obviously the flat ends, which is the hallmark of the Custom Heritage series of pens. You have the sword style clip, which I mentioned earlier on. You have the band, which says down here Custom Heritage 92 Pilot Japan. The clip is pretty well made. It doesn't kind of have any play side to side. At least this is a brand new pen. And then just wondering about the piston mechanism, which is pretty smooth. I would say that it doesn't feel as solid as the Pelikan's mechanism, but it's pretty good. So opening up the pen, This is one area of the pen which I've wondered about, which some other reviewers have commented that the plastic used here is actually very thin, and there's a fear of this part of the pen cracking. We'll monitor that as I use the pen. So again, piston operating mechanism down here. If you look at the ends down here on the spindle, you actually have the flat part of the spindle down here, which you probably can use to dismantle the pen for proper cleaning. You have little grooves down here, or additional reinforcement for the plastic, probably to make this area of the pen stronger. You get the piston itself moving up and down on the rod, and then you get the section, which, say it's a decent size section, but it's probably a fair bit smaller than the 74. I have to check later on. And then finally you have the nib, which is the number 5 pilot nib, FM, and you get the feed, which again is fairly standard feed for those of you who've had a few pilot pens before. So very interested to ink this pen up, and then I'll give you some of our writing thoughts. So let me get some ink and then we'll come back later on. So I've decided to ink up the pen with Yamaguri. And when I was opening up the pen, I just noticed that the pen actually has, this part of the pen cannot be removed. It's not like the 823 where you can unscrew this portion of the section, which is good because it means that it's less likely one less place for the pen to leak. And there's also this little ring down here, which I didn't notice earlier on, and there possibly is an O-ring up here, right, on top of the pen. I've also gotten the calipers out, and just comparing this section, it's about slightly over 1 centimeter for the section in the middle, and it's probably about the same as the Custom 74, right? So the other thing which I noticed was the size of the Custom Heritage 92 is pretty close to the M600 Pelikan. Not exactly, but it's pretty close, and the nib sizes are comparable as well, right? The Pelikan has probably a smidgen smaller section, right? So it'll be interesting to compare these few pens in a future video, but right now, as promised, I'm just going to ink up the pen. And I'm not going to draw up too much ink, just enough to do the writing sample. And the piston mechanism actually operates pretty well. Just with one pump of the piston, I'm able to draw up quite a lot of ink, and there was just a bit of bubbling going on, not too much. So I guess a lot of you are wondering which notebook I decided to move on to after the Clairefontaine, and I've decided to kind of continue or go back to Rhodia for the time being. So I'm using the Rhodia dot book, and just move on to a fresh page for the writing sample. and this is the FM. It's pretty smooth. And surprisingly, for such a small nib, it's a number 5 pilot, it is relatively springy or bouncy, right? So that's an interesting thing about this pen. And I mean, I just filled this up, but wetness, it's not like super wet. Wet enough is what I always say whenever I do this type of pen test. So initial impressions of the Pilot Custom Heritage 92. It's a very interesting pen. I didn't realize that, you know, first of all, how comfortable the pen was, even though it's not exactly the longest pen in the world. I measured it just now. It's about 12.2 centimeters. However, it's very comfortable in the hand. I'm not sure, you know, how it would feel compared to the M600. It's about the same, and for some reason, it feels slightly better than the Custom 74 for some reason, and I think it's because of the weight of the piston behind the pen. That could be it. So my initial impressions is it's a very well built pen, pretty good looking pen, to be honest, and I'm actually looking forward to running the pen in, and I'll give you my detailed thoughts later on, and probably do a little bit of head-to-head compared to probably the Piston-filler, which is closest to it, the M600, as well as the Custom 74, which I have down here. So look, you know, please look ahead for that video where I'll kind of compare these 3 pens. However, I think my initial impressions, like I said, a very, very nice pen, and I'm looking forward to using it. So thanks for today's video. It's kind of an impromptu unboxing. Hope you kind of learned something from the video and found it informative, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.